and I'm gonna cross my fingers and not say this again. I know y'all sick of me saying that. Oh! Girl, unpopular opinion, I guess. Your garden. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. A big part of my morning today is going to be used fertilizing, but what else do we need to do? We have another bed that we need to get some rabbit manure in. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this today or in this video because it's supposed to be 80 something degrees today. I'm out here pretty early. So I got out here around 7-ish and I started recording around like 8-ish, and I think that it's still 8-ish now. Yes, well, it's almost 9 now. Anyway, I have to fertilize. So that's what a big part of this morning is going to be. So not like the really nice things where you send a whole bunch of stuff that's grown or me harvested, but it is a part of the work that has to be done. And I have a lot of things to fertilize. We're gonna get to that, and I'm gonna show you, we gotta get all of the seedlings fertilized. We gotta get the greenhouse fertilized. We have to get the green stalks fertilized. There are things in the main garden that I wanna get fertilized. So we have a lot of fertilizing to do. And people ask me about my fertilizing routine quite often. So I figured I would go ahead and share that today. My two main fertilizers that I'm using right now is the Espoma Organic Grow, and this is a 2-2-2. So it's a very balanced fertilizer. If you're new to gardening, your plants need the macronutrients, which is N, P, and K, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And then there are other nutrients, they call those micronutrients that they need, that also is included in this fertilizer. And the other thing I use is fish emulsion. Smells absolutely awful. If I'm honest, that Espoma Organics has somewhat of a smell too. And I have used Fox Farm, has somewhat of a smell too. They all have a smell. I really like fish emulsion for the really leafy plants. Love it. I use it all fall and winter long because those plants pretty much grow all greens. That's what you're trying to grow. Now, I think I figured this out last year. I went on a dummy mission trying to purchase a whole bunch of fertilizers, and that mission got aborted so fast because it was so expensive, right? I was trying to see which one worked the best. So we never got to a conclusion because I did not buy all those fertilizers again. What I did come to the conclusion of for me in my backyard, that maybe it is important for me to switch my fertilizers based on the type of plant that I am growing. So for instance, let's stand up. There we are. So for instance, if I'm growing a tomato, so in the beginning, the fish emulsion was working. The plant was growing well because that's what I was trying to do. Grow the plant, grow the leaves and things of that nature, right? But I found that fish emulsion still worked because I did that for years. I still got a harvest, right? But last year I switched to a more balanced fertilizer at flowering, and I know for my peppers, I got a lot of flowers once I switched to that. And I struggled with my peppers last year because I had aphids. And so for the larger part of the year, I didn't get a good harvest, for one, because I didn't want to fight the aphids and the ants. Ants are drawn to aphids, and I had aphids and ants all season. At some point, they just disappeared, right? And then for the second half of the season, I got harvest from my pepper plants. But anywho, what I'm saying is for the plants that are going to flower, what I am doing is switching to a more balanced fertilizer. Also, while my plants were going in and out of the house, I was not fertilizing with fish emulsion because, for one, if they were gonna get aphids, I didn't want that in my house this year. It happened to me last year. For two, I heard that aphids are drawn to nitrogen. Fish emulsion is pure nitrogen for the most part. It is a 5-1-1. So 5 nitrogen, 1 phosphorus or phosphate, whichever one it is, and 1 potassium. I have not fertilized any of my seedlings with fish emulsion. I am going to fertilize today with a very diluted amount of fish emulsion for my tomato tomatoes and my basil. My basil, I just up potted not too long ago. They look a little rough, so I think they need a little bit of nitrogen. My tomatoes, they have just been potted up as well, so I think I'm gonna give them some nitrogen. My peppers are gonna get the Espoma Organics just because I don't wanna fight aphids. We already have a few, but we do not have a lot, so we don't wanna end up with a lot. And then I have some dahlias that are a plant. They are not seedlings anymore, and so I will be fertilizing them with the Espoma Organics, but it will be a full dose because those are plants. They are in the 5-gallon Bootstrap Farmer pot. So we're gonna fertilize everything in the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse too. And while we're talking about Bootstrap Farmer, I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Let me tell you a little bit about Bootstrap Farmer. So Bootstrap Farmer is a company that is building things like greenhouses, hobby greenhouses for the small backyard gardener just like me. But even if you are a larger farmer, homesteader, they have greenhouses for you too. They're also providing us with sturdy US made pots, trays that are going to last us. Very sturdy, made to last. And also these pots have the root pruning technology. If you are not new to gardening, you know how wonderful this is. And if you are new to gardening, you will more than likely find out eventually. Root pruning technology allows your plant's roots to grow and not circle in the pot or the container that they are in, which means that the roots do not get root bound, helping you have a more healthy seedling. And so they come in these cute colors, all so pretty. Makes me happy when I walk in here. So many colors, but you also can just get everything in black if you are not a colorful person. Also, they started to sell these in much smaller quantities. When I first started working with Bootstrap Farmer, that's the thing that people said a lot is I don't need that many. This year they have switched and you can get much smaller quantities of pretty much everything that I show you. And so I thought that was really good because I know when I first started out, I didn't need a lot either. So I think that was a great thing that they decided to do this year. Also, something that I always forget to tell y'all in these videos is these purple bags are also from Bootstrap Farmer. I'm pretty sure I've had these bags. This is going on my 2nd year and I'm not seeing as much growth, but I will take you by so you can see because I think everybody has a difference in what they would like on their bags and how they want it to look aesthetically. But I just wanted to show y'all that I'm not a super aesthetic girl, so it does not bother me, but I just wanted to show y'all that there is a little bit of growth, not a lot of growth. I also do not dump my bags. I do not wash my bags. They stay outside all year. So what I also will say is they're not wearing down quickly. Love that. And you get some more color in your garden. I know some people like just a whole green garden. I like pops of color, and that's why I love the Bootstrap Farmer trays, why I love the Bootstrap Farmer bags. And then of course, I like to be able to grow out of season too. And that's why I like the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse. Anyway, y'all, if you are interested in Bootstrap Farmer, want to see more about them, they also have a lot of resources for you if you want to grow. That's on their website. Anyway, there will be a link down in my description if you want to check out Bootstrap Farmer. And I want to thank Bootstrap Farmer once again for sponsoring this video. Y'all, just real quick, I know we already showed this, talked about this, but everything is still growing real nicely in here. And I am so surprised that we don't have, and I'm going to cross my fingers and not say this again, a lot of pest damage in here. What I will tell you is I am going to get the netting up on this greenhouse either this week or next week. So you can put netting on the greenhouse. That way the bugs can't get in and out. However, I do plan to grow tomatoes in here. So I'll probably leave the door open. Although my door has a screen on it, so I could close it if I wanted to. And then I could hand pollinate. Completely off subject from this video, but I could do that too. Anywho, like I was saying, I'm just happy to see that we don't have a lot of bug pressure. Now, over here, look at y'all. This is bananas. Not really. I started these early for UGC content, but we got flowers trying to grow on these shishito peppers. All 3 of these were grown really early. So y'all, let's get to this. How pretty. I showed y'all that in the last video. Let's get to fertilizing these seedlings, and then we are going to fertilize the actual things that's in the greenhouse beds. Then we're going to fertilize the green stalks. And I know what I meant to show y'all too real quick. I know y'all sick of me saying that. Probably want to fertilize these potatoes too, but we'll see. Look how full this bed is getting, y'all. Isn't it amazing? Also, we about to have that calendula show up. That'll be the first calendula of the season. This bed is so full though. Like, real nice. I like that. All right, let's get to work, y'all. Okay, so one of the things that I do that every time I do it, someone reminds me that I can put my fish emulsion in first and then I don't have to stir. I don't like the bubbles that it makes when you do that. So if you put this in first and then start to spray the water in, the bubbles that it makes, I don't like that. So I spray my water in first, then I put my fish emulsion in, and then I just stir it with this. I haven't ever had a problem with it. I don't end up with a bunch of fish emulsion at the end. So that's the way I like to do it. I don't like the bubbles. I don't know why, but I just don't. I'm about to show y'all me putting this in here, but I wanted everybody to know that's the reason why I don't do it. For a full 2-gallon watering can, I use 2 ounces of fish emulsion. Now, I'm not telling anybody else to sit and measure their fish emulsion because truth be told, for a long time, I didn't. However, I have gotten into the habit of measuring my liquid fertilizer. I still don't measure granulated fertilizers, but my liquids, I do measure now. But since I'm about to fertilize seedlings, I am going to basically try to go at a 1 ounce because I want to dilute it by half. When you're doing seedlings, a full amount of fertilizer could burn the seedlings. It could kill them. It could be too strong. I can't say that I've ever had that happen because I did not try it, but that is what I heard. And so to avoid that, after I have grown these seedlings for as long as I have, I'm just doing it. Like I said, there are some rules that I do follow, and then there are others that I don't. The fertilizer, I do follow that because I don't want to kill seedlings that I took my time to grow. This will be coming off as soon as I'm sure we don't have a frost. This is just here because, like I said, I got a screen door on this greenhouse and I think it's so cute. But I have to put this plastic up when it's cold so that that cold air is not coming in and defeating the purpose of having the greenhouse in the first place. So let's get to work, y'all. And so I come through and I try to get the soil more than the plant because that's where you want the fertilizer to go. And I also make sure that the soil is moist before I start to fertilize. So with that being said, I watered yesterday, but that's what I want to make sure of. And if I get it onto the plant, also, this is not the right bed. Oh, darn it. This was for the seedlings, y'all. Oh, things that happen. It's okay. So this area got a diluted amount of, oh, girl, that was a wasp, y'all. I don't know where he went, but thank God he didn't sting me. He was just crawling up my arm. It's a lot going on. I think I scared my dog because now she barking. Y'all, that wasp was just crawling up my arm. I don't even know where he came from. We done fertilized the wrong bed. Woo! Let me take a break. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and I am filling up another thing of fertilizer so we can actually do the basil and tomato seedlings. Now, what I will tell you about that wasp, I normally definitely 100% stay away from wasps, but it came to me. However, I don't want to kill it. And I will tell you, I have sat and watched wasps, just regular wasps, pick up the cabbage looper off of a plant and take it away. So I know that it is good for the things in this greenhouse. I can still see it in the greenhouse. It's crawling up a broccoli plant. So I'm not gonna kill it. I'm not gonna try to get rid of it because I have watched it. Over in my sitting area in the main garden, if you remember last year, I had brassicas that I had saved for the chickens. And I was sitting over there one day and I was watching a wasp take them. So they are not the best for us, I guess, as it relates to like being stung and stuff, but they are not the worst for the garden. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna watch it though, because I don't want it on me. I am sure that if we have cabbage loopers in there, it's in there to get them out of there for me. So I work with nature around here, which is why I still haven't sprayed those pepper plants or done anything to the pepper plants because I'm not seeing just a whole bunch of aphids. And another thing I'm not seeing is a bunch of ants coming to the pepper plants. Last year, this time, still in the pots, the ants were there. So I'm just watching. If I end up needing to, I absolutely will I think. I've done my life in this garden so long without spraying and things of that nature. Like, I say I will, but I'm not sure if I will. I did buy the stuff that I need just in case. Just because I didn't enjoy last year fighting aphids and ants. I didn't enjoy it at all. Now, let's fertilize what we were supposed to be fertilizing the first time. And as it relates to what I fertilized incorrectly, I'll just make another one that's half strength and fertilize that section again, just to make sure it gets the full amount of fertilizer. And so I personally fertilize every week for my leafy green vegetables. It's just what I do, and it seems to have worked. It's been working, so I'm not going to change that up unless I see that, you know, maybe I don't need to, or maybe I need to switch. I don't know. This is just me showing what I do. I always tell people, I'm not telling anybody else to do it. This channel is chronicling my journey. And if you happen to learn something from it, that makes me excited. But I'm not a teacher. I'm not a person who does, like, you know, you should do this. Like, you're never going to see a video that says the plants you should be starting right now, or this is the only way to do this. This is the best way to get this result. Because I don't believe that there's only one way, and I don't believe that we all should be doing the same thing at the same time. I just don't. Unpopular opinion, I guess. I do think it's good for views though. Like, if you put a video up like that and people are trying to learn, I think it's really good for views. Y'all might be a little bit crooked because I got to put the camera where it can fit. Anyway, there's a little bit of water in here. I'm going to sit this down here because, like I said, I watered yesterday. But I am going to water from the bottom. That's another good thing about the slits on the side of the container, is you can water from the bottom. There's also, they're not containers, they're sales or pots. There's also holes at the bottom. And so that's where the water can come up, the fertilizer can come up. So I don't have to sit and try to fertilize each one of these pots. They can just be fertilized from the bottom. And that's how I do it. So this whole table is gonna get fish emulsion. And then the table over there with the peppers and the dahlias, that's gonna get Espoma Organics. And that's because all of those things flower and they're further along. Tomatoes also flower, but they're also very early in their life. And that's why, sorry, I don't know why have y'all looking at my back. And so that's why I choose early on, if they are not in my house at this point, especially peppers, to do fish emulsion to get them growing. And then I'll switch over to the other fertilizer. And this is new as of last year. Have not always done this. So if you have been here for a while, you know I have always raved fish emulsion, fish emulsion, fish emulsion. But I do think that there is a place in my garden for different types of fertilizer. And I don't mean I'm going to go buy a bunch of different name brands of fertilizer. I mean fertilizers that have a different number or value of N, P, and K. And so the two that I showed you are the two that I'm using. And if you are new to gardening, you will notice that there are a lot of channels that tell you that. There's a lot of information that tells you you should switch when plants start to flower. For whatever reason, in my mind, I was like, I don't think you need to do that. And it worked, but I don't think I got the harvest that I should have because of that. So this is what we're doing. We did it last year. Okay, so since I've shown you how I do the fish emulsion, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Espoma Organics. I still have more to fertilize with the fish emulsion, but I'm gonna move on to the Espoma Organics. Make sure that you shake organic fertilizer for sure. I don't know about the synthetics because I don't use it, but I mean, use what you wanna use. I'm not telling aeroplane. I'm absolutely not saying that organic is the only way to go. I'm saying that's what I use. So make sure you shake it. Now, this fertilizer goes by quarts. I'm not great at math. Pretty sure though that I figured it out to mean that I need to have 4 capfuls of this for a 2-gallon watering can. I think. I look it up every time. Either way, when I'm fertilizing my seedlings, I only do 2 capfuls because it needs to be diluted. Although the peppers are pretty big at this point, and I'm gonna have to look it up because we have to do the dahlias too. But I'm positive that for the seedlings, I only do 2 capfuls. So 2 caps full, not 2 capfuls. Makes no sense. And I do the same thing. I put my water in first and then I stir it up. It's just the way I like to do it, y'all. All right, off we go. Oh, there's nasturtiums down here too. Forgot about them. So we need to fertilize them too. And I will give the nasturtiums the Espoma Organics as well. They are nice size. They've grown really well and they are flowering plants. So that's how I decide. I think I said that if it flowers, it gets Espoma Organics. And so I think it's important to know that you can change what you do any year, any month, honestly. This month, I could be saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Next month, I could be saying, you know what, that's not working out well, so I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. So I think it's important to know, even if you share on the internet, that it's still okay to change and do what's best for your garden. All right, let's look this up. How many quarts are in a gallon? Blah, blah, blah. I am horrible at math, y'all. Pretty sure it's 4 quarts in a gallon. They say it's a half per quart. So yes, it's 4, I think. Because I got 2 gallons in here, which makes 8. It's 4. I'm right. I be so nervous, y'all, because I'm so bad at math. Which is crazy because I used to work in finance. But thankfully they have calculators and things like that. But the dahlias are getting the whole thing. So we put in 4 capfuls in here. I do like the fact that I don't need anything extra to measure out the Espoma Organics fertilizer either. Also, the Espoma Organics, I think it tells you to do it every 2 weeks. I can't remember if I fertilized last week or not. So every 2 to 4 weeks. I'll start to pay attention this year to like how often I need to do it. Do I need to do it every 2 weeks or do I need to do it every 4 weeks? Because it says 2 to 4 weeks. And you know, you already put stuff in your soil to feed the plant too. You know, I'm gonna start paying attention to that too. I know with my leafy greens though, that every week in the fall worked out really well. I got a lot of good harvest from that. For my flowering plants, I never really paid a lot of attention, but we're going to this year. All right, see, these are full-blown plants over here that's already flowering. But hopefully, in the next 10 days, I don't see anything under 40. And if that's the case, these dahlias are going to get planted out. If that is the case. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But they're going to get planted out because, look, I keep showing y'all that it's actually beautiful. I have some fertilizer left, so I'm going to go ahead and pour this into one of the strawberry green stalks because this is the Espoma Organics. But we need to do the rest of this with fish emulsion. So that green stalk is very crooked. And I was gonna do all pockets because it's crooked. Then I decided I didn't feel like it, so we put it through the top. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here. My neighbor is listening to music. So with that being the case, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all. Also, I will do a separate video for the green stalks. Bye, y'all.